Hi, and welcome to the next part of our journey into the most important element of many genres, the kick. My conclusion of the last video was that can happen a lot, and the more control you've got over your kick, the better you can solve problems when they occur. As we have seen how important the phase in low frequencies can be, you definitely should know at which key the kick you're working on is perceived. There are three easy ways to identify the key. First, and in my opinion the most flexible and safe way, is a frequency analyzer. No matter which one you take, the analyzer, for example PEQ2, or something specialized like Voxengo's span. For a native plugin here, we take PEQ2 as example, as it got a nice feature to help us out. In the options, turn frequency precision to highest and time smoothing to slowest. Let the kick play and hover with your mouse over the lowest peak in the spectrum you can clearly identify. In the hint bar, it tells me that we are at about 49 to 50 Hz. Sadly, it doesn't tell the note value, but PEQ2 got something similar. If you right-click a note and go to Key, you'll find all notes in all octaves with their corresponding Hertz values. For example, A1 is 55 Hz. If you go now through all the keys and just concentrate on the 50ish Hz region, we are coming closer around F#1, but it's still too low. G1 is 49 Hz and G#1 is nearly 52. So the closest match would be G1 here. That's the reason I personally like to use specialized plugins for this job. In Span, it's easy peasy. Set it to the high resolution mode, play the kick, hover again with your mouse over the right spot, and we got a clear readout with all needed information. The second way would be Edison. Load the waveform into Edison, say detect pitch regions, and the last bigger region is what we are interested in. Edison tells us as well a G. The third way is to use a tuner plugin. But as you can see, with fastest reactivity and bass enabled, such plugins have a hard time to identify anything here. It tells us a few times a G as well, but it's more guesswork than science here. But anyway, we've got our answer. The kick is in G. But what do we do if we need a different pitch because this G doesn't work in our song? Tuning the whole kick sounds silly very easily in resample mode. And much worse with one of the time stretch algorithms. And on top of that, it's basically nonsense to tune the whole kick. It's basically just the last part of the kick we would need to pitch down or up. If you want to replace a wheel of your car, do you place the jack in the middle of the car and try to balance it out that you can lift the whole car? Or do you place it beside that one wheel and lift the car just there? If we want to change just parts of our kick, it makes sense to reduce any action to that wished part. A kick consists out of three components: the initial transient or click, the sweep which gives the knock or the punch of the kick, and the body or tail, which is basically just a sine wave at a certain frequency. To separate a kick into their individual components, there are two ways. Because these regions happen after each other, we can first separate them by time. We can isolate the click the sweep or punch, and the body. We can do so by just resizing the audio clips, or using the envelopes in a sampler, or if you like, with volume automation. The second option we have would be a filter. Kicks have the specific characteristics that the three components all happen in different frequency regions. By using high and low pass filters, we can isolate different components very easy by placing the filter to the wished spots. This is perhaps the most precise and easiest way. Just note that these filters cause phase shifting in the resulting waveform, and linear filters change the sound of the kick. So the way to go depends really on the situation and what you're trying to achieve. Additionally, splitting the kick into three components is an overkill for most tasks. In most situations, it's enough to go with one split. It's a nice trick, by the way, to play around with the 200 Hz region to enhance the knocking of the kick, or to reduce it if it's too much. No matter how, the result is more than convincing. Now it's very easy to, for example, either tune just the body without any bigger side effects, or to exchange a complete sample. The attack is always the same, but changing just the body to a different sample gives us a whole new kick. The same is of course true for the attack. Now the body and the pitch of the kick stays the same, but the character of the kick changes drastically. This is one part of the layering technique, putting together something new from different samples according to the modular principle. A second way would be to use layering in the proper sense instead of just splitting and replacing. For real layering, we need mostly the splitting as well, as layering different tails will most likely cause more trouble than it could be beneficial. Layering with synthetic kicks means in 99% of all cases layering several attack samples on top of each other to get a stronger or richer click. The sky is the limit here. Let your creativity run wild if you wish so. On the top end of the kick, you cannot break anything. It's just a matter of taste. The next option for layering is to enhance weak kicks. This technique is mostly used for acoustic drums. For our musical taste today, normal acoustic kicks are simply too weak. They got, because of their nature, too little low end and are mostly too short as well. What many producers do to enhance the low end instead of trying to crank up everything with deep EQ curves is to layer a very low sine wave underneath. A bit of attack, a bit of pitch envelope to give it a bit more punch, I think that's enough for today and hope this was perhaps useful for some of you. These techniques already enhance the way we can work with kick samples, but real flexibility is still not reached here. In the next video we will go a bit more advanced. Stay tuned and thank you for watching.